Hey, it's Jeff. Today, I'm just gonna have a channel update. I think it's been like a month since I've uploaded, and I did like a stream pretty recently, but we're gonna try to figure out what the plan is going forward. Talk about some new series ideas for the YouTube channel and stuff like that. So, um, first thing I'll mention, I got back to 2000 Blitz. And this was without like any kind of opening prep. So whenever I take big breaks from chess, I typically forget everything that's in my repertoire. In fact, like I could even show you, like if I go to chess tempo, um, opening training. Yeah, so I have like all of these lines from when I was studying before. I would just try to memorize and understand ideas of, but But yeah, there's no way like if I take a break from chess, like I'm not looking at this regularly. And I think this definitely incorporates spaced repetition. So it's a good source of storing your opening knowledge. There are other tools I also like to use to actually train on openings, but I haven't looked at openings in so long, and I'm probably going to be switching up my repertoire. That's why I don't mind showing this stuff. So yeah, I'll be probably switching back to kind of where I started, which was when I first started chess. I copied like Bobby Fischer's repertoire, so I played e4 because of him, and I played the Najdorf versus e4 as black. And then d4, I never fully had a good plan for. I think I started out with the King's Indian because Fischer, of course, but at some point after taking some lessons, I started playing the Slav and then but I never really did as much prep for that. I didn't encounter it as much, and so I'd always dread playing against d4 as black. Um, and then later when I switched to d4 as white, and then as black, I've tried the Carol Khan a little bit. I tried Roy Lopez, like just e4, e5, but and then even some of the French, but not very long. But part of the reason I think going back to a e4 approach and playing a Sicilian Najdorf, and I'm going to be picking up the Grunfeld probably some like months down the road when I study openings again. I bought the Chessable courses that were on sale, um, but yeah, that's kind of like my plan for actual chess improvement. Is eventually I'll get back to openings because my coach, um, last coach I had definitely said like I did a lot of tactics, but I need to work on openings. And since then, I've just been because I've been busy. I've only done tactics as my main source of training, and I've been just trying to grind like the puzzle rush. So like that's where this let's see the series where yeah, puzzle rush practice where I would do like 500 at each rating level. I don't know how much I'll continue this. I could like record the 900 level right now if I wanted, but some of them actually did pretty well. Like this one got 677 views. This one got 525. So some of them just randomly did well for a little bit. So I don't know why, but then it fell off. Um, but yeah, so I might just continue practicing Puzzle Rush on my own and just trying to get really good. And then I'll add like when I get some high scores and decide to record one video, they might add to this playlist. So hopefully one day you'll see like a 70, Puzzle Rush 70, and then that'll be a good day. But first up, you have to get to like 45 and then 50 and so on. So it's still a grind. And like for the past month, I have not been working on even Puzzle Rush that much. Like I do a little bit of warm up. I think I'm going way off tangent now. So talking about actually I have some notes. So we talked about my opening history. Plan is to learn openings and improve at chess further when I become much better at Puzzle Rush. Ultimate Puzzle Rush goal. Puzzle Battle World Champion. There we go. So if I ever do win it, we can look back at this video and see that I officially made the goal here, stay at the goal here. But that is also dependent on Chess.com to continue having these events every year. So I'm pretty sure there'll be one in early 2023. I don't know if there will be one in 2024, but if not, be the best human score in Puzzle Rush 3 minutes. Okay, so that's that. Now, so like I said, I just got to 2000 Blitz. I'm not really interested in trying to go for 2100 while I don't know any openings. It's just not gonna be like that great. If I do play, I'll probably, one tip I do recommend is, like, especially if you tend to tilt and lose a lot of rating points. And since people are like biased towards Chess.com or Elite Chess in general, just have an account on both and then have one be your main try hard account, and then the other you can just play whenever you just feel like playing chess. And so like here I got to 2000. I just want to let it sit like that. So I'll just, next time I'll just go to this one and then play Blitz here. And so I can still improve and stuff, but I also can protect my rating if I want. It is kind of silly to care about ratings, but I mean, what else is there to do when you're doing chess? Everyone wants their rating to go up over time. But this is a nice way to just sit on it. And if you look at my all-time, I've been 2023 and 2020, so it doesn't look like I've improved much. It just seems like I'm at a plateau, but that's just because I have not studied chess at all, really. I'm just do Puzzle Rush in the in-game mode. I've been keeping up with these 9 in-games. There's been some people, I'll shout out some people that have been making life a little bit difficult. 2 Bishops Mate, this person is keeping up with me, and if you look at the 90-day score, it's pretty much just us competing for #1 spot all the time. Nobody else is even close. Let's see. Wait. Queen Mate, nobody really there. Queen versus Pawns. This person is pretty good. They still have a little bit of improvement to go. I can usually just beat their score by a few seconds, and they haven't really put a big push towards the 90-day yet, but they are close. But like I would say between that and the 2 Bishops Mate, this person is really pushing boundaries like a lot more on this versus the other one, if that makes sense. Queen versus Rook. Wait. Queen versus Rook. Let's see. 90-day. Oh wait, it's on Friends. Yeah, this Prince213. I think he follows the channel. He's using the old version. That's why all his records will be 0.0. But I got 25.1. Wait, his 90-day is like that. No, I think it was always there. Oh, my best is 23. That's what I was trying to think of. So yeah, he's been doing pretty good at those. But I think with the new version, if you learn the new patterns, it's actually better than using the old version, even though there's some lag. And that's pretty much it. There's one person that came out of nowhere, like this person been doing pretty good at a lot of the pawn endings. Let's see, like the drawn ones too, especially. Wait, yeah, there he is. Okay, so that's the in-game stuff. I still don't really have that much interest in making too many more in-game videos. I know there's like the new update, so there's more random positions. And I'm kind of keeping like the lines I use a secret just because other people are starting to catch up. And so yeah. But like if people just want general tutorials on how to get them done in the first place, I could do something like that. But as far as like actual speedrunning tutorials, I'm not sure. It's like, I mean, you wouldn't expect like Magnus to give up like his opening prep just because And it's kind of similar to that. But yeah, if chess had come at some event or something, then I'd be doing them on stream, and then people could learn the lines. But really, the thing is, all you have to do is just look at the table base, memorize the shortest solutions, and just train a lot until you get them. Like there's not really there are specific lines that I found that's like easier to learn as a human. Some of them don't like I'll sometimes I will spend extra moves just to get a line that I know I can do that instead of memorizing like a very abstract thing. Sometimes you do have to memorize the abstract things though. Uh, Hopefully like the end game, the top tier end game people know what I'm talking about. But let's see. Um, okay. So some new series ideas, and I think I'll probably go for like another 9 minutes now for this video. Try to keep it like 20 minutes. Um, so one new series idea I might want to do is blunder check. So basically, to improve at chess, like everyone always says, you got to work on tactics, especially up to 2000, and it's definitely true. Actually, like if you look at my games, I had like a really good streak today where I won against like basically 1900 level players, like won at 14 moves, 15 moves, and 60 moves, and they were just all tactical blunders. This one just go through, and as you see, the only openings I know, well, you can already tell I don't know my openings that well because if anybody knows like the London, like I don't know how to handle this. It's probably in my chess tempo thing, but I'm definitely not playing what I have in chess tempo. Like I can guarantee that. So like I went play all these moves, and we get to this point where they moved a knight here, and basically they just hung that knight. So I take, and then they resign. It's like similar stuff was just happening. But then I've also had games where I just blunder horribly. Like even this one, I actually did blunder. So where was it? So here, I went here, and right after I moved, I noticed they could take this pawn with the knight, and then if I take back, I would lose the queen. If I trade queens, they take back with the knight, and they won a pawn. So I saw that, and I was like, oh no, I lost the pawn. And then they took this pawn with the rook. And so I just took it with the queen, and then they resigned. And then this game, let's see what happened. Okay, I remember this one. So at this point, I move my knight here, because it's protected by a lot of stuff. It's only dependent by that. And the idea is, like, I want to do stuff along this diagonal, and just getting this knight here just seemed like pretty useful. And I took, which is a blunder, because what you take with the queen, it's a double attack, and the knight cannot move to block anything, and they can't block anything with any other piece. And then they resign. So that was like 3 quick games right in a row. Now, unfortunately, after that, I lost 3 games. One of them, I just hung my queen, like right there. I hung my queen on 8-4, it looks like. But I think I was also in time trouble. No, I was moved 27. I don't know if I was in time trouble. So I fell down to like 1969, and then I had a good streak of games. In this drawn position, I kind of blundered, but then I still got some kind of attack, but I decided to go for a safe draw because it just seemed like if the attack didn't work, I would have lost, and I would have probably had like a bad streak, so I just took my chances, just took the draw, and then the next game I won. And this one was actually kind of crazy. So what happened here was I was trying to attack, so like I'm not castling anywhere. Their king is castled. It just looks like things are open. So, and also part of the reason why I want to switch my openings a bit is because I realized with doing the end games and wanting to be the best at Puzzle Rush that my memory is probably one of my greatest strengths in chess. Even though it's not like I have a special memory or anything, I just enjoy the process of memorizing things, learning things, and practicing them until they become automatic. That's how you get better at the Rubik's Cube here, and so on. And so there are different types of chess openings and positions. So there are some where it's more important for you to understand the ideas. Like if you play an opening scheme like the London system where you can play kind of the same moves early on, but then you need to learn some strategic things. Versus openings like the Sicilian where it's very theoretical and sharp, and one wrong move can mean like life or death in a chess game. So so yeah, the fact that I feel like I could memorize a lot of theory means I should just play openings that cater to that. And that also means I don't have to worry about playing as many positional type games, I guess. I can steer the game more complicated more often because I'll have better tactics overall. Now in the past I kind of avoided that. I want to be like Karpov and Capablanca and Magnus and be more positional style and not take as many risks. Um, and then and it's because I just wasn't confident in wildly tactical situations. But now as I'm getting better, I do feel like that's like what I kind of want to do now. So anyway, in this game, I'm trying to attack. I get one, two, three pieces lined up against this pawn. They only have two defenders, and I end up winning that pawn. And I have a really good attack here, where it's not necessarily going to lead to mate, but it'll lead to winning material. So I get this fork and take, and I'm running out of time here. So if you notice, I have 19 seconds left. I have 31 seconds. I go here, which falls into this pin. So now I've lost my queen, but I have two rooks, but 5.5 seconds left. Now I played tons of Ultra Bullet back in my day, and for the record, it did not help improve my tournament chess at all. I remember I was playing, instead of preparing for tournament games, I was just playing Ultra Bullet all the time. And it did help me in like Bullet and thinking quickly in Puzzle Rush, but in terms of actual improvement at chess, not really. Maybe it helps with maintaining my level though. But anyway, I know I don't want to give this check. This rook here is very valuable. My only win condition is to get the back rank mate. So I move the king out the way. They go here. Uh-oh, I can't go here. Can't get the back rank mate. So instead, I go here. Now I have like 5.1 seconds. Okay, I waste 2 seconds to make that move. They take the pawn. Now I can go here and threaten this. So I do that. They give a check. So I move out the way. And luckily, they did not give a follow-up check. And then I went here and pre-moved that. And they resigned. So they didn't play the final move. And this was the game that pushed me to 2005. So that was like a really, I can't describe how much of a relief that was. But anyway, blunder checks. So you saw, like, at this 2000 level, like, we're all just making blunders anyway. But most people, if we look at, let's say, rapid, and then global, most people are 700 rapid. And as it goes up and up and up, see, like, even 2000, it's already, like, way past the majority of players. So chances are, if you're watching this video, you are somewhere in here, most likely. And there's a few of you that are like ahead of here, like Ride Chess Master is probably one of them, and Squeaky Crab is another one. And also, I could see it just by looking at my friends list. Let's see. So there we go. And then, yeah, I guess if people aren't showing up, it's because they haven't played a Rapid game in a while. I don't even show up on this list because my Rapid is inactive. So the plan is to make instructional content, and that will be a blunder check series for, let's see, 500 rated chess.com rapid, 1000, and so I'll make 3 playlists, for blunder checks. One where we go over 500 level games, one 1000 level games, and one 1500 level games. And the idea will be if you're trying to get to 500, well, chances are you don't really need a specific playlist. Like you can look at the Habit series by Chess Bros or Nerditsky speedruns, but this would just be looking at what are 500s doing, how could they improve by just implementing a blunder check and improving their thought process. And the same for 1000. So if you're like 700 trying to get to 1000, this will be like the playlist that most caters to you, because you'll see what kind of mistakes people at a higher rating than you but not too high are making, and then one for 1500. So the goal is to kind of make some resources for people that are trying to get to 1500, and this should cover everything, I think. And part of the reason why I think it's useful for me to do it, even though like I'm not titled and stuff, like you can see like my credentials over here, just 2000 rapid, 2000 blitz, 2200 bullet. I'll say that the bullet is with the 1 minute, 2390 was doing 30-second chess, but I've been able to maintain 2200 just by playing 1 minute. So that's kind of the distinction there. And I think it's useful because, one, I don't know openings that well. I get by just by trying to survive the opening and then figuring out what to do from there. So a lot of players, they try to, okay, I went over 20 minutes. We'll just keep going, make a little podcast. What was I saying? So a lot of people, they want to learn some different openings or learn about strategy and everything, but if you're in this rating range, like anywhere between like under 1500, even under 2000, there's a good chance the biggest weakness is still going to be your tactics. Um, and and yeah, you just really have to fix that above all, or make sure that you are actively working towards it. If you're just watching YouTube videos and not really using your brain, then it's just passive learning, um, and I'll start talking about that a little bit in this section. But ideally, you want to be doing active learning, and so this series will be an active learning series where I will encourage people to pause the video and do a blunder check, think of what they would do, and then I'll talk about what I would do, and I'll be reacting to games without having seen them before, so you get an authentic kind of like coaching session. So I think this will be like the closest you can get to coaching without having a coach, at least in terms of like actual blunder checks. So you get a lot more practice with this specifically than I think you'll find elsewhere. And I think other tutorials like I said, Danya's speed run and the Habit series by Amon. Those that you have like the grandmaster playing, right? They're playing against lower rated players, explaining and showing you how to win while giving you some habits. But this will be more of a series on how do you not lose, because if all you do is play solid moves, even if you don't know what's going on, eventually your opponent will make a blunder. You take their piece that they gave you, and then you trade down and win the end game. And literally, that strategy just gets you all the way up to 2000, even if you know barely anything else. Like, you should know, like, the opening principles. You should know how to convert some basic end games, like the king and pawn, and know how to checkmate with a king and rook. Like, stuff like that. You should know, but beyond that, like, I don't remember the rook mates, like the Lucina or Philidor and all that stuff. I don't remember. I did have some lessons on them and have some notes on them, but like I couldn't do them. I even forgot the bishop and knight mate. I'd have to rewatch my videos to relearn it, but now with the new update, there's like more position I would have to learn. I'm just not interested in doing that right now, just because the other person is pretty good at it. Let's see. I should have shouted him out. I forgot because I'm not really at work on this category. So my best is 30. He got 29.9, so he's technically the world record holder. I don't know if they're legit or not. They probably are, just from seeing their progression. Like I saw as they were down here and came up to here. The only thing I'm kind of suspicious of is how good can you be at the two rooks mate with the new update? but it's probably fine. I'm not really like worried about it. And so let's see what else we got. So yeah, so I want to do this blunder check series, and we'll see how people like it. I think the idea is 100 videos, games for each category. So yeah, so for these, like 100, 500 level games, 100, 1000, 100, 1500. And those I might be able to try to do like one a day or something to get more consistent uploads. To see like how many can I batch make in a weekend or something. But that'll be the plan there. Also, if people want their games like analyzed, they could also um, talk to me about it, like leave a message in the comments. Ideally, it would be a game that you lost and you were kind of confused about something, or you just want to know what a stronger player would think about it. A lot of people, like I see it on Reddit all the time, like people say, um, I played this game. What do you think I could do to get better? And it was a game that they won, and so like they barely made any mistakes. It mainly comes off as like just showing off, rather than actually asking for advice. Like they're kind of saying like, "Oh, just give me some advice," but like you learn a lot more from games you lose. That's like a Capablanca quote too. So I mainly care about like losses when analyzing games and figuring out where you make mistakes because it's not like it's that hard to find a loss in your games. Like just look at anybody's rating history and you'll find like lots of losses that you can go through. Like if you won, stuff is going right. You don't have to fix it. Even if you made like some blunder mistake, it's still like the momentum of a chess game just switches so often that both sides usually have a chance to win under 2000. There's usually something. So like, let me see this game. If I go to analysis, actually some of these people they just beat me throughout the opening, so I don't even have a chance. But if I go to game review, yeah, this one I didn't really have a chance. Could have probably drawn it somewhere, but usually like you'll see the evaluation go crazy for both sides. Okay, so now psychology of learning and memory. So I've always been like obsessed with experts and people that are at the top level of skill and stuff because I wanted to kind of emulate that and become good at stuff that I was working on. So like the Rubik's Cube, I was always looking at like Felix, how he's like dominating all these records. Um, I think maybe some other people are starting to overtake him now. I haven't looked in at the cubing scene in years, but um, but yeah. So I did study some psychology in college, so I was looking at just a lot of that stuff, like how do we learn, what like types of memories there are, how best to learn different types of skills, and so on, and stuff like spaced repetition and all that stuff. So I feel like a lot of people when they get better at chess, it's kind of like when you learn a second language. Well, when you learn yeah, I guess when you learn a second language, like if you're young and you're immersed into like multiple different languages, it's a lot easier to pick up. And it's similar how some players they can become like grandmasters at 13. Like if you start chess young enough and you get a lot of good training, you can progress like really, really fast. And it's not impossible for adults to improve. It's just some ways it can be a little more difficult, but it's not impossible to break past plateaus. And most people don't get anywhere near their actual limit. And most people, when they're training, they're using inefficient methods anyway. So, and that goes for even learning in school. Like nobody ever teaches you how to actually study, how you should format your notes, and so on. But there are a lot of like studies that talk about what kind of things work and what doesn't work. And one thing that's pretty common is passive versus active learning. So you definitely don't want to do things that are like don't want to always do stuff that's passive. Like you need to always like try to find active learning when possible. So testing yourself on material is very important. Um, So like if you're watching, like let's say, like there's Pog Champs or something happening, and you're watching like Carl or Levy give some tips to Ludwig, um, and all you're doing is watching, you can nod your head and agree, and you feel like you're learning stuff, and you are a little bit, but you'll also quickly forget things if you're not really using it. So one thing that I do is you take like snapshots of different instructive moments, and Dresky talks about this in his books. So like a lot of like top Russian players back in the day would do stuff like this, and it's like you find some position, like okay, where did I make a mistake? Can't tell exactly which one was a mistake, but you find some position, and then like let's just say I made a mistake in this position. Um, let's say okay, let's just say for some reason I took here and gave up this pawn. The thing is, this position is just lost anyway because if I go here, I lose this bishop. But let's say for instance, taking this would just be a blunder. I would save this position and have a prompt saying evaluate pawn takes g5 or something. And then I would have notes say, oh, this just hangs that piece. But it doesn't have to be like tactical. It could be about like losing the bishop here for nothing, or doubling your pawns for nothing, like stuff like that. But this one is okay for the double pawns. So basically, you just build like a notebook of important evaluations and thought processes and stuff. And I'm not explaining this the best; it's getting kind of late. But there'll be videos and series on them when I've given it more thought on exactly how I want to cover it. Um, also do software comparisons and reviews. Chess versus Chess.com, for instance. I have a lot of opinions on that. There are some things that each does well. Um, of course, you know, Chess is free, Chess.com. Sometimes some similar features are behind a paywall. Um, but in general, I'm always for using like the best platform for like whatever job you're trying to get done. Just find whatever's the best at it and use it for that. So you can use a mix of Chess and Chess.com. You don't have to be one or the other unless you're just really against like one for some reason, which a lot of people are. But let's see, there's also other types of software reviews like Chess Base, Chess Position Trainer, Chessable, and more. Um, for a long time, I was kind of mainly just talking about chess.com because I want to be like a partner streamer and stuff. But I'm not really sure if streaming is for me. I think um, it's hard to say. Like, I don't think I have the personality for it, to be honest. But I do see like you don't have to be like super animated and everything like the top content creators are. Like you have like some chill people like Chess Network or Eric Rosen that just kind of like do their own thing, and they still like can do like really well. But I don't think I just have the energy to even um, just be live. I think I don't know. I'm working on it though, but also finding the time is kind of difficult. One day it might change, but I think focusing on like the YouTube content, which has the benefit of being like long lasting. So like making these YouTube series, they might not get a lot of views at first or ever, but if anyone ever had questions about how I would encourage people to improve, then they would have that resource. So it might become something that becomes popular later on down the road. Like maybe I have to win like a Puzzle Battle World Championship for people to actually find this series and start enjoying it, and then start sharing my channel around. So I don't know. Um, but yeah, so if people want to see like stuff from other sites, I could start doing that more often. But for now, I'll probably just still do chess.com stuff. Um, we talked about the Blitz without opening prep. And yeah, my main practice for now is just Puzzle Rush, not really trying to get better at normal chess until after I become top tier at Puzzle Rush. And maybe I'll pick up some other end games on the leaderboards later, but it's kind of up in the air. And then the solving 500 of each like rating band of puzzles. I don't know if people want to see more of those or not as I get better. It might just be enough to get actual better Puzzle Rush scores. Um, but the thing is about these were it was at a point where I could make a weekly video, and that was kind of nice. Or at least like somewhat regular video. But now with this blunder check series, I can maybe like I see a path to making a video every day. Because I'll show you what I would do. Let's see, we're 35 minutes. Okay, I'll try to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. So if I go to Rapid, now just use chess.com Rapid Games because that'll be a standard that most people will just instantly know. And there are more people on chess.com, and probably most people that subscribe to me at least use chess.com a little bit because they found me from the in-game leaderboard and so on. So I'll just go down here like for the 1000. I might not use people that have added me as a friend. I'll look for people that they played but are at a similar rating. Let me see, I'll just pick this person. And then they played some games, they're active. And then I'll just pick like one of their losses. And then actually this is against the person I added as a friend. Oh, they just played a lot of them. Okay. But yeah, I'll try to find a game that's not like too long. Okay, I just clicked on a 67 move game. Okay, 26 move. And then we will turn off the engine. Actually, I need to get to like move 11. We'll just skip through the opening for the most part, because again, we're not too concerned with what happens in the opening. We just want to learn how to find our way when we don't know what to do, and we just want to do a blunder check. So right now we're just in check, but yeah, so that's how it's gonna go. We would just, I would say, pause the video and think about what you want to do, and then I would get my thoughts. And just in case someone actually did pause the video, I didn't mean this to be an exercise, so I'll just try to do this one. But this isn't a good example because we're just in check, so we have to like, I'd probably just take and remove their bishop pair. So yeah, let's see. That is what they do. So yeah, we're not gonna like go through the whole game, but that's kind of, I would give more explanation on what are the forced moves that I see. Like in this situation, this is a forcing move because it threatens the queen. This is a move that threatens the knight. There are no checks for us in this position, and I don't think there are any captures for us either. But they do have captures, and they do have 2 checks. So it's like you would definitely want to look at every single forcing move when possible and calculate as deep. As long as there are more forcing moves, then you have to still calculate. And this is harder to do in a shorter time control game. And even with a 10-minute rapid game, you don't really have that much time to look at everything. But it will illustrate why you should spend more time on your moves and why rapid is kind of preferable to learn some skills, because when you're doing Blitz, you have to take a lot of shortcuts in your thinking, and you really don't develop the most important like blunder checking skills. So it's kind of like random. You might, unless you just know a lot of patterns, you'll really struggle when you play faster time controls. So yeah, so it's been almost 40 minutes, covered a lot of stuff. I'll make a video introducing the blunder check series, and we'll see. Let me know about any feedback on some of the other ideas. I'm not really gonna immediately work on these unless I see some comments that are interested in them. Psychology of learning and memory, and software comparison and reviews. So yes, you have to leave a comment if you want me to cover something like that, and I will. If not, I'll just be working on my knees silently. So if you're much stronger, it might get kind of boring. So sorry about that, but I'm not really going to do the end games forever. Um, but I don't know, maybe I'll start doing like end game content again at some point. But I think it's more important for me to get better at Puzzle Rush first. So getting better at chess in the end games will take second priority to me getting better at Puzzle Rush for now. But then outside of that, while I'm getting better at Puzzle Rush, I think I can make this kind of YouTube series because it's really just simple. We're just focused on the forcing moves and doing a blunder check, and um, and yeah, and hopefully people that want to improve and they feel stuck, they'll get a lot of ideas and practice that will help guide them to seeing more in their games. And then at some point we'll talk about like more pattern stuff because this puzzle rush pattern is a very important playlist in my opinion because this is part of what will make you see things faster in Blitz. Because here we're not really focused on calculating
We
everything.
wanna
We're just trying to see like, okay, this is Anastasia's mate. See this pattern, and then when we see another one, we instantly recognize it and know the moves. So that's like another important step to it. But um, arguably, the blunder check one is more important because it teaches you how to find patterns when you've never seen the pattern before. So that's the best way to put it. We're over 40 minutes. So yeah, got a lot of stuff covered, and see you next time.